We're here today for Raising Youth Voices 2026. The Rare Disease Day campaign is the global but very decentralized movement to raise awareness for people living with rare diseases. We really are missing that global moment of unity, of having some kind of event where people can come together. And that's really how Raising Youth Voices was born, as we decided to bring people together in Barcelona to highlight young advocates. We had an open application process. People submitted applications from all over the world. So we actually chose these 6 young people for a combination of factors. Obviously, yes, part of it was them and their profiles as individuals, but also the other major consideration was the projects themselves. Those 6 projects we feel are really varied, are really interesting, and are really showing the different ways that people can come together for Rare Disease Day and get involved.
People with disabilities, like me, have heavy rare diseases, means they are impairments. And because of this, I didn't go to the school since I was like 10 years old. I can't just be stuck in my home. I need to go out. I need to connecting with people. I need to have peers who can support me. You let your kids know, no matter with or without rare diseases, that they need to build a system in case they feel isolated. Many kids like me with SMA still stuck in their home in where I live in China. They don't have friends, they didn't go to school, they only use internet. So I also connect the both group, online and offline. So I organized the tea party in campus, invited them to come. That's what I do in campus, I just want to show to the world that a girl in wheelchair, they herself can make her own decisions and don't tell about what she can do or cannot do.
Now, the reason why I focused on mainly targeting medical professionals, the students especially, and the doctors, was because in our medical curriculum, our lecturers do not mention rare diseases. So I wanted to inform the future generation of medical students that rare diseases do exist, and that when common diagnoses fail, they should have a rare-aware mindset. That is, thinking that this might be a rare disease, because there's a whole lot concerned with rare diseases, but it all starts with a diagnosis. The effort that was put into this event, it was, for me, it's like the organizers are like telling me, Vincent, there are opportunities out there for youth like you who are willing to do so much within the rare disease community. It's like they are telling you now that have your hand out ready, and when an opportunity comes, we'll just take your hand and you can do so much more. So I'm going back to Zimbabwe filled with inspiration, and I'm willing to do so much.
I'd love for people to see all the strength and power in youth and young advocates and really listen to all of their stories, their Rare Disease Day projects, and hopefully learn from them and be inspired. I hope other youth and young adults are inspired to drive action in their communities locally, and then I really hope that folks that are working across the rare disease space and also older people living with rare diseases all hear the themes that the youth and young adults focus on and look to them as leaders as we move into the future, move into what the next 10, 15, 20 years looks like in the rare disease space, particularly as it relates to advocacy.
We're a small community, but we're a very mighty community. There's a lot to be said, and there are people saying it, and I think that's really important. So everyone should have hope, because there was hope in the room today. Our journey with Rare Disease Day actually started last year on February 1st when my daughter was diagnosed with a ultra-rare condition that is life-limiting. In that appointment, we were told she had 5 to 10 years to live. We were told, expect the worst, but it's okay to have hope. Not the most promising thing to hear about your daughter. So afterwards, obviously, we were devastated as a family, but we chose to have the hope. We met amazing researchers and professionals around the world who are doing all they can to give children with infantile neuroaxonal dystrophy, which is also known as INAD, hope at a full life. Being diagnosed on February 1st, we quickly found out about, Rare Disease Day, and we threw ourselves into it in February amongst it all, and I would never have thought I'd be sitting here today this time last year.
I didn't want to be someone who only received help. I wanted to be useful myself and contribute to supporting others. My project focuses on inclusive sports for people living with rare diseases. The aim is to raise awareness of physical activity as a tool for inclusion, well-being, and social participation. At the moment, some people living with rare diseases do not fit into any existing sports classification categories, which leaves them invisible and excluded from participation and competition. We want to highlight these gaps and start a constructive dialogue with stakeholders to ensure that no one is left unnoticed. We had originally planned to hold a sports event in Ukraine for Rare Disease Day, but with full-scale war still ongoing, it's not possible to run the event safely this year. Without electricity, heating, and water, survival becomes extremely difficult.
I always hate public speaking, but being able to be around people that, kind of understand you, kind of understand the situation, and maybe not exactly, but in a similar situation is definitely, calming in a way and makes me more comfortable. And I just think, that's just something that I feel like a lot of people take for granted. So the fact that, we were able to all come here is definitely a unique opportunity, and I'm definitely grateful for it. It comes down to the fact that there's kind of a stigma, sharing your rare disease, and people are just scared to, be judged, because the internet can be definitely a cruel place. So I understand why people may be uncomfortable posting, but I think that was kind of, one of my goals is kind of to get people out of their comfort zone and be willing to share their story. And, again, the fact that I didn't highlight the rare disease was because, I want people to show them who they are outside of their rare disease.
Souvent, on est seul derrière son téléphone à parler de ces sujets-là. Beaucoup ne comprennent pas, même ma famille, pourquoi je parle de ça sur les réseaux sociaux. Pour beaucoup, ça doit rester privé. Et là, vraiment, quand j'ai vu que c'était pas que moi, je sais que c'était pas que moi, mais là, voir quelqu'un le dire de vive voix, ça touche et ça fait du bien de voir qu'on n'est pas seul et que, justement, là, il y a des gens qui, comme moi, ils veulent faire changer les choses, faire changer le regard sur ça et faire en sorte que ce soit plus quelque chose de tabou.
Man, the young people are great. It really is that. It's just truly being able to say we have to empower and give as many resources as possible to the young advocating for rare diseases. And I think that as we do that, we're going to see so many seismic changes happening. And it's going to be so exciting to see that. Every single day, every single morning you wake up, every time you look at your child, you go to work, you talk with your medical students. Anytime that happens is a victory. And you're winning over the naysayers and the people who don't know about us and the people who would judge you and the people who won't care. Because eventually they'll have to. With the amount of people with rare diseases, they will eventually be touched in some way in their lives by a rare disease. Might as well help them a little bit in terms of making the situation better for when everyone else gets there.
Through the conversation, we have heard voices from different regions, backgrounds, and life experiences. And that diversity is one of the greatest strengths. At the same time, many of these messages have been extremely consistent. The call for meaningful participation, the need for trust, accessibility, and long-term inclusion. and the desire to move beyond being consulted and to work being true partners in decision-making. Sharing experiences across borders doesn't dilute local realities, it strengthens them. It allows us to identify common challenges, learn from different approaches, and advocate for more actively together.
With everything that's in the news and with the way that the world is, it's very easy to feel beaten down by things. But being on that stage today was an immense privilege that I will never underestimate. And truly, to be able to be in this room and to hold these conversations and to learn from these incredible peers of mine, of other young fellow people in this rare disease space, was just such a pleasure.